Greetings, gang. Happy Monday lunch. So, big thing in the news, if you have noticed today, if you have not, or over the weekend at least, is Russia-Ukraine again. Now, this is kind of important because if you watched any of the Sunday news shows or picked up any of the clips or anything like that on them, CBS's Face the Nation interviewed Zelensky yesterday, or whenever they did, but it was aired yesterday. And Zelensky let the cat out of the bag. All of a sudden, we know what's going on. The United States is providing Ukraine $1.5 billion a month, to keep their economy afloat. Not for military, not for anything like this, to keep their economy going. Can't spend $1.5 billion here to keep our economy afloat, but we can give it to a non-NATO country, a non-U.S. ally, but we can give your tax dollars or borrowed money that eventually will be paid for with your tax dollars away. We have rampant inflation here in the United States, but hey, let's borrow more money and give it to some country over there that we have no ties to. Okay, one of the most corrupt nations in the world, but that's beside the point. Unless, of course, you're Jerome Powell, and the reason for inflation is not the government borrowing money and pissing it away all over the place. Jerome Powell, according to him, is the reason inflation is so high is that you and I, the general public, we make too much money. The way we need to control inflation is by reducing the American paycheck. Don't believe me, go look at the negotiations from the railroad unions with the whole thing here. I mean, Powell came out and said exactly that. The problem is the people make too much money. Just saying. Okay. It has nothing to do with the $1.5 billion that we're spending there, the student loan bailout, the God knows pissing money away, the inflation protection program that will put pork and all, pay off all the politicians and everything like that, give them more money, but, we pay for it. But the thing to look at here is what that $1.5 billion is doing. Now, there's a referendum, 5-day referendum in the 4 oblasts on the eastern border of Ukraine, okay, Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson, where the people are voting, if you will, to no longer be part of Ukraine and become part of Russia. And you think, BFD, not that that's going to matter. Except the Russians have come out and said by the end of the month, which, in case you haven't looked at a calendar, is the end of the week, they will acknowledge the fact that those 4 oblasts, basically a quarter of the Ukrainian country, is now Russian. Now, I don't have a dog in this fight. I could really care less what happens where the border of Russia, Ukraine is or anything like that. It's none of my business, except how it affects me. And the key is, I want to watch this, and I think you should too, as to this is exactly how Balkanization in the United States would happen. Now, think about this. And I've said many times that this country will not survive the way it is, the United States. Okay, we're beyond repair. That right and left does not agree on anything. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't care how much debate, how much compromise you're going to come up with. Abortion is wrong. You are not taking my guns, period. Okay, and there's a litany of other topics that I could go into, pronouns and all this sort of, CBDC and CRT and you name it, okay? All that crap that the liberals want ain't happening in this guy's backyard. I've got my red line. I'm not Barack Obama. That ain't being crossed. The end, okay? Don't try. There is no compromise, okay? Just not happening, period, all right? I'm putting my foot down on that for at least me. But When the people decide they no longer want to be part of the country that they are in, and you look at what's going on in Ukraine right now, they think they're going to vote their way out of the United States, or out of Ukraine and into Russia. That ain't going to work, because I highly doubt that Ukraine's going to go, oh, you guys don't want to be part of the country anymore, you want to be part of Russia, go ahead. Oh, okay. So let's think about that in U.S. topics. How many times have we heard Texas having a referendum, if you will, on the ballot about seceding from the United States, forming the Republic of Texas? I understand there are people that say, well, the Constitution and everything like that. Yes, true, okay. But trust me, there are laws in Ukraine, there are laws in Russia, there are international laws about borders and things like that too. You can't just vote your way out of a country, right? Because what happens next? Belarus says, oh, we want this part of Ukraine. And Poland says, oh, we want this part of Ukraine, until Ukraine just goes poof and disappears. Now, not that the European map hasn't changed a dozen times in the last 100 years. I mean, you could think of pre-World War II, during World War II, post-World War II. So you start looking at stuff. Yes, it's possible. But let's think about how those breakups happen. Every time it's guerrilla warfare, it's violent. You don't have countries just go, well, you know what, you want to dissolve and become your own country, that's okay, we'll just let you go. I mean, can you imagine Washington's response if Texas said, we voted to leave, we're out of here? No, you can't do that, it doesn't work. So what do you have then? In this case, those 4 oblasts, or in my example, Texas, says, we're over there. Okay, congratulations. You're still paying taxes to us. We're not part of your country anymore. According to the international law, yeah, you are. You can pay your separate taxes. You can use your separate services, police, military, fire, whatever it would be. You're still part of our country, whether you like it or not. So what happens? Well, now it turns into a police state. 300,000 troops moving in? What do you think the premise of this might have been? Well, we know all these people are going to vote their way out of Ukraine, and we know Ukraine's not going to have any of that, so there's going to be much more intense fighting, again, in the aforementioned Yugoslavia, same thing. We need more troops in there. Same thing would happen here. If Texas, if the entire Southeast, I've told you guys many times, I mean, the map I can come up with has 5 separate countries in the United States. You don't think there's going to be people that are going to fight against it? Okay. I mean, as red as Texas is, don't give me anything as Texas is going to turn blue. That's a Democrat pipe dream. Okay. But imagine Texas goes, we are now the Republic of Texas. We are a conservative state, and this is it. What do you think the people in Austin, Texas are going to do? They're going to fight. Go, hell no, this is not going to happen. Okay? And it's the same anywhere. Everybody loves to talk about, oh, the easiest way to do this would be this. It ain't easy, guys. We're going to watch in real time exactly how this plays out. If it ever came here, which, like I said, I think it eventually will. But you're going to see the bloodshed. Well, you'll see it if the media reports on it. But, whatever else the rest of us can get, we'll show you. Enjoy lunch. Pinball out.